Okay, my name is Cornelius Ngure. I'm doing this project solo, and the project name is called QuizWiz. So let's dive right into what the project is going to be about. So the project is an interactive web-based quiz application that supports multiple choice questions, user feedback, and scoring of the results. So some of the features that the web app is going to have are going to be user authentication, time limits, where each question will be timed, and then the results will be stored in a database, and then the app is going to be responsive, which means that it's going to be usable across different devices of different sizes, such as phones, tablets, and screens, and laptop screens, and what have you. So some of the things that I'm going to learn, the objectives, include the backend skills, where I'm going to use Flask, which will be used to manage user sessions, routing of the web templates to the backend, and then the entire quiz logic. And then the front end, where I'm going to use HTML5 and CSS, and also a little bit of JavaScript for interactivity, where such as the timers, the timers for the questions. I'm going to use JavaScript for that. And then the database skills will also be enhanced, where the results of the quiz will be stored. I'm going to use SQLite database. And then API development. This I'm not sure whether within the time that is there that I'm going to be able to do this, but if the time allows, I will create a REST API for the set of questions. And then I'm going to use Trello as the management tool, so that it can help me to see the progress that I'm making, and also be able to meet the deadlines. So some of the technologies that are going to be used in this web app are going to be Flask, which will be used to handle routes, user authentication, and session management. And then the database is going to be SQLite for storing the results, and also manage the user accounts. I'm going to use HTML and CSS and JavaScript on the front end, and then and I'm going to also use the Flask login authentication as additional libraries. And then when it comes to deployment, I'm going to use Vercel for deployment of the app. And it goes without saying that Python will also be used. I'm going to majorly use Python in the back end. And then, yeah, I've already talked about the Vercel deployment. And then for the API, I'm going to use Open Trivia Database. It's an API that contains a variety of quizzes. That's the one that I'm going to use to fetch questions from. I'll integrate that into QuizWiz. And then challenges and solutions. Some of the challenges that I'm going to encounter will regard the user authentication, where I will need to have a secure user sessions and accounts. In that case, I'm going to use Flask logging. And then for the database design, I'm going to have a proper schema for storing quiz results, questions, and user accounts. And then when it comes to time limits, because the questions will have to be timed. I'm going to use JavaScript timers for quizzes with real-time feedback. And then mobile responsiveness, I'm going to use CSS grid and flexbox for fluidity and responsiveness of the layout. So so in that case, I'm going to use the mobile first approach to ensure that responsiveness across devices is achieved. Then when it comes to work schedule, as I said, I'm going to use Trello. So I'm going to the development of the app is going to take approximately 2 weeks, and as you can see here, this is the schedule that I've laid out. So the first week, I'm going to set up the structure and the environment, implement user authentication and session management using Flask, and then design. And then day 4, I'm going to design and implement the quiz interface, using HTML and CSS, the front end, and then add functionality for scoring and time limits. And then the second week, I'm going to implement the database, work on responsive design for mobile and desktop views. So I'll be juggling between the front end and the back end. And then towards the end, I'm going to test the app. I'm going to test the app, and then I'm also going to if I'm going to have enough time, I might implement the REST API and also refine the user interface. And then towards the final days, I'm going to fix the bugs and do ample testing and generally do polish the app. And then now this is the mock-up of the UI, how it's going to appear. I hope I'm really going to implement all this. It doesn't look easy, but the idea is to have a user to have an email and password for them to create an account and play the quizzes. And as you can see, it's going to be responsive using mobile phones or tablets and whatever screen one might have. So this is the general idea of what the interface is expected to look like. And then towards the end, the future enhancements that I might implement. Number one is new quiz sets. Design. I'm going to design the app to allow for easy addition of quiz questions, either manually or through admin interface. And then later on, I can add badges or leaderboard to encourage competition among users. And then I could also implement social media login with Google account or Facebook for easier user sign-in and account management. So yeah, that is basically what the app is going to be about. So from tomorrow I start implementation. I'm going to start with the front end. Yeah, and that's about it. Thank you very much for listening, and God bless you.